Okay, Dan, I'm trying to shoot you a quick video on what we've done and everything's set up now. As you can see, the landing gear, this is the carbon legs. They're rigid. Mounted them to some rings here to dampen with. Also added a battery plate here. So when you get it, before you add your gimbal or anything, mount your battery in the center here and get everything centered up and do your initial test flights with a battery located on the center here. It's also a good place to add another battery so you can run two batteries in parallel to get a longer flight time when you're carrying your gimbal. Okay, here is your video transmitter. There's a little plastic clamp, half clamp that we've mounted here, so it kind of slides up and down, reposition if you want. HDMI converter is plugged in already. I'll leave it plugged in for you, but this is the original connector for the video transmitter. If you ever unplug these for anything, use this as a reference on what colors go where, okay? I'm also going to include, let's see what I've done with it. Here it is. It's a GoPro cable. So you can fly your GoPro in this protective case and get a video feed, okay? So I'm giving you a HDMI video converter and you got a GoPro cable, both plug in the same way, and the original cable with a servo connector on the end of it, of course, to plug in other types of devices, the type of imaging devices you may want to use later on. So, video transmitter, another battery plate, landing gear, we moved the arming switch, replaced the ESC, but one of the coolest things we've done, this is a great gimbal. This is one of the better custom gimbals I've made. But I know you're not really using the Canon anymore. The Sony's gonna be a better camera. But you'll have to rebalance it when you get it. So just loosen these screws, these clamps here, to extend the roll arm, left to right. Pitch arm, of course. You got clamps here. You got these inside screws. You'll need some Allen screws, a 2.0 millimeter or 2 millimeter Allen head or Allen driver. But this will shift up and down. And this little bracket here, this mount will, of course, go left and right so you can get your camera balanced. But I'll use your old camera right now just to show you. But what we've done is rerouted all the wiring so you have a 360 gimbal now. So you can do your 360 shots without binding all your wires up, okay? Which is pretty cool. All right. This is to control the pan and the tilt on your camera or the gimbal. The red is to control the pan. The white and black is to control the tilt. The black wire, of course, is the ground wire. The red and white wire are your signal wires, okay? Just remember, the red wire is a signal. It's not power. You'll plug the signal for the pan into channel 8. You'll plug the pitch into channel 6. Right here on the receiver. That's why I mount the receivers where I do on the front here, facing out. So they're in close proximity to the gimbal. All right. So I'll take this off. The gimbal will just slide on. If need be, you can always push these rails out forward a little bit more. That's when you put your battery on here and get it adjusted. Everything should balance out pretty well, but what you can do, there's a hole right directly in the center here that some wires run through. But where that hole's at, the top plate, that's your balance point. So you can kind of raise it with one finger when you get everything on there, if you can, or kind of from that spot inside there to get it balanced. Okay. Let's power this up. Got the gimbal set up to follow y'all. Of course, I'm jerking around a good bit. It's not. And here's your monitor. I'm not mounting the monitor to your transmitter. That's something I'll let you do. You can figure out what works best for you. But it does have an adhesive pad here that actually mounts quite nice right there on the 9XR. You can still, it'll mount right to this flat area here. I'll just wipe it off and clean it real well with a microfiber cloth to aid in the adhesion. But it's a nice little 4.3-inch screen though. You can tilt it, turn it. It's got a little ball joint in the back. It's got a wall power source, a power supply, and another cable that has one of these red JST connectors on the end, so you can plug a 3-cell battery into it if you need to. All right. I think that's about it. You gotta set the ground control station software up on your laptop as well. This is basically, everything's gonna look. I'll go ahead and take the canopy off real quick and I'll show you. Just so you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. These need to go for the gimbal. There's channel 6. Ground goes down, or was the bottom pin. And red is the pan signal. Here's the other end of the red JST connector for the power. Route it through here. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Plugs in like so. But not bad, it's pretty clean. Move the strap to the back. Of course, your HDMI converter for your Sony. Plug in here, or plug it on the other side, wherever you need it. And like I said, you can move this wherever you want. You can even mount it to the top of here, to the top of the gimbal if you want to. It works really well. That's how I usually recommend for people to do that. But you're also going to be using this is just a handheld stabilizer as well. So you may not want it on there, but it's for you to decide. You can place wherever you want to. Just make sure wherever you do put it, make sure the antenna has good exposure. It's not being immediately obstructed by anything. All right. And as far as the grips go, we're going to unplug these. Those pull out pretty easy. But you also have to be careful because I just unplugged channel 7 on the receiver as well. I did that. You need to let that wire a little bit so it doesn't happen again. All right. But everything's in pretty good working order then. I said it's turned out to be a really nice copter, and it flies well. And it's got plenty of power. I'm going to show you real quick one thing that if you want to use this as a handheld stabilizer, one of the best solutions that I found is using the landing gear. You may think you look a little ridiculous, but it actually works really well. And there's some other people that use theirs the same way. But to do that, we're going to pull these wires out. Let's see here, so you can see it. I'm going to move this rear battery tray. I'm just going to pull these rods through. Maybe safer to do it from this direction. Once you go to stab your arm with one of those props in the back. Of course, you know how all this stuff folds up. Loosen screw. Just pop out. Shoulder blades folded back. Put this off to the side. What I want to show you real quick is these little adapters, these prop adapters that we've been trying out. You may want to look and invest in some of these, because if you can take your props off easily, then this thing will be a lot more compact. All it is a prop hub. This part screws down to your motor. Well, of course, you can take this off and it screws down to your motor though. If you look at this motor here, it's a standardized mounting pattern. Right? Then you screw your prop down to this part. Basically all you do is it's actually harder to do it by hand than it is when there's a prop on there and it's mounted to the copter. But basically you spin it on and it locks, right? This is for a clockwise turning motor. That way you spin the prop this way and it comes off. You spin it counterclockwise. You spin it counterclockwise and screws on. Believe me, once they're mounted to the motor and the prop is mounted to the adapter here, these things go in a lot easier. But all you have to do is just, like I said, spin it clockwise and it comes right off. Spin it counterclockwise onto the motor and it locks. But this is for a clockwise rotating motor, spinning this way. But you can mount these, be a direct mount to these motors, and you can just spin all your props off, put them in the bag when you break it down. But what we're considering for the handheld stabilizer is this. Just using the landing gear, all right, as a stabilizer. That way, it's so much less you have to carry. So we'll go this way. And what you could do is mount your battery to this foam pad here, right? You can also take the landing gear rods off, or use the rods from the landing gear and slide in here. And take the battery tray, pop it on this way, and actually have your monitor mounted to the top of your battery tray here. That way you've got a monitor, battery, all using existing hardware for the copter. I'll plug it up. Restart it. I bound it up. What I like about using the landing gear, like I said, you've got the skids, the horizontal skids to use as grips. You've got the vertical landing gear leg to use as grips. So if you can still hold it with one hand, so you can really get it out and above. And you slide the landing gear off these rails here and flip them upside down, back upright. Then you've got a stand for your gimbal to mount another camera, so you don't have to lay it on the ground. It's an all-in-one unit. Yeah, I mean, like what your typical handheld grips are for a handheld stabilizer, but these things are relatively new. I mean, they're going to keep reinventing themselves. And you're actually starting to see some units that have a 3-axis gimbal that you mount on your copter. You can take it off and use it by hand. This is just a little more compact. Now you can take the longer part of your skid here and slide in here. Then take your other battery tray, slide it on, and mount your monitor to the top side of that pad. So you've got a monitor you can look down on, and you've got this padded battery tray here to strap the battery down to. Seems to be really balanced. Seems to be balanced well right here. That's good. Watch. So you mount another camera. You're done using your handheld for a moment. Slide it back in here. Now you've got a cradle for it, so you don't have to sit it on the ground. Just use the landing gear. I think personally that's the best solution for this. All right.